It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, of course, thank you, Ewan. You will have heard in our sports report the tragic news of the passing of one of South Africa's soccer legends, Moshoeu, who passed away losing a battle with cancer that has lasted for several years now. Passed away yesterday afternoon. Now joining us on the line, a man who was very close to him, and of course the entire footballing fraternity, President of SAFA and friend of Moshoeu's, Danny Jordaan. First of all, Danny, a very good morning to you. My condolences to you first. I know that John was a very good friend of yours. How has the footballing world received the news, the tragic news of the passing of Moshoeu?
Well, first, notwithstanding the fact that this has been a struggle of Moshoeu and that eventually he lost, it was a shock. We were with him on Monday. I was there with Lucas, and we could see him battling. And yesterday, of course, in the afternoon, it was all over. Moshoeu has made an incredible contribution to South African football. And all of the things that Bafana has achieved at that time, Moshoeu was on that field. And whether it was winning the African Cup of Nations, qualifying for the World Cup in 1998, you could not have achieved that without Moshoeu. And if you look at the team that we played Brazil at the time, we played Argentina, we played Germany, we played against the best teams in the world. And in the midfield, Moshoeu together with Dr. Khumalo was equal to any of those midfielders, and it's no surprise at the time that Moshoeu, Dr. Eric Tinkler, and Linda Buthelezi in the midfield helped Bafana to get right up to position number 20 on the FIFA rank list. Now, these days, at number 60, we could just wonder when we'll get back there. Of course, a sad loss. A great footballer for this country.
And Dr. Jordaan, as somebody that knew him personally, how would you describe Moshoeu to people that perhaps never knew him on that kind of personal level?
Well, I said yesterday, if you want to draw the ideal Bafana player, then you look at the characteristics of Moshoeu. A dedicated footballer, disciplined, committed, always working hard to be in peak fitness, always ready to fight on the field. And, you know, the kind of football that he played is almost like he's gliding on that pitch. We can just hope that one day we'll have those kind of midfielders again to take charge and take control. But, of course, he was also a very firm person. You're not going to, he was not a pushover. And when we have to negotiate the kind of rewards, Moshoeu was always very firm in his position. This is what I want, this is what I agree with, this is what I won't agree with. And so it's always a person that you knew where you stand with him.
Now, Doctor, we know a huge amount of fans, not only from the Bafana camp, but also from Kaizer Chiefs as well, I'm sure would love to be able to pay tribute. Has there been talk of a tribute for the great player?
Yes, we are going to look at the memorial service on Friday and then the funeral over the weekend. But it's also when you go outside the country, and I went to Turkey, to his team there, Fenerbahce, was one of the big teams. And the kind of praise and the way they perceived, he was one of the biggest players ever in that club. And the fans came out to sing his praises when I was there with him at his club in Turkey. He's a huge player in Turkey. And all of the success that they had achieved, they clearly recognized the contribution of Moshoeu. And if at that time he was ready to take citizenship in Turkey, they would have grabbed him. huge respect for him, as both as a person and as a player.
Indeed.
So it's not just in our country, but on the African continent and all over the world. A very, very special person, a very special player.
Indeed,
Oh,
Dr. Jordaan,
Doctor.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning and taking our call. I remember as a kid playing soccer in the streets, everybody wanted to be called
Shoes.
So, my
No, that was
word.
incredible. Dr. Jordaan, thank you so much for joining us. And being present there at the 96 final, I can certainly understand what Dr. Jordaan was talking about. A legend lost to the world of football. We're going to see you on the other side of a quick break.